Lesson 8.1, Nonlinear and Linear Systems. A system of equations is several equations with the same solution. And one way to solve them is by substitution. To solve by substitution, you solve one equation for a variable. Then you substitute that expression into another equation. You solve the new equation. Now you have one of the answers, so you can substitute that back into the first equation and solve to get the other answer. And as usual, you should always check your answers to make sure you're correct and didn't make a mistake. All right, let's solve this, which is a line and a parabola. And I know that because we have the x squared in the second one. So we could take this first equation and we could solve it for y. So it'll be y equals 2x plus 5. Now that I know y, I can take that and I can plug it in for y in the second equation. X squared plus 3x minus y. But y is 2x plus 5. We can distribute the negatives. It would be negative 2x and negative 5. And this appears to be a quadratic equation. So let's make it equal to 0 and combine like terms. So we can combine those to make 1x. And we can subtract 1 to get negative 6. Then maybe we could factor. What times what makes x squared? X times what makes negative 6? How about 3 and negative 2? And does that add to make 1? It does. So then we take each of those factors equal to 0 and solve for each of those. So I get two answers for x. So to find the y, we're actually going to do each of those separately. So if x equals negative 3, I'll plug it into the y. Y equals 2x plus 5, which gets me negative 1. So that answer would be x was negative 3, y was negative 1. But we have another value of x, which is 2. Plug that in. So y equals 2x plus 5, which would be 9. So that point would be x, y. So we have two answers, negative 3, negative 1, and 2, 9. You can also solve graphically, which is done by graphing both equations on the same coordinate plane, so on the same graph. And the points of intersection are the solutions. Those would be the points that both graphs go through, so it satisfies both equations. So let's solve this system graphically. So let's start with graphing the first equation. Maybe let's make it equal to y. So subtract the x squared and divide by a negative 1. That is a parabola, so we could make a table of values on that. Zero is negative 5, 1 is negative 4, 2 is negative 1, 3 is 4. And the other way, symmetric. So I have 0, negative 5. I have 1, negative 4, 2, negative 1, 3, 4. And it's symmetric the other way also. So draw a nice parabola. All right, our second equation is a line. We can make it equal to y, so add x. So this is a line, y equals mx plus b. So we start graphing at the y-intercept, -3. And our slope is 1. So I go up 1 over 1. So you get a bunch of points and can see what your line will be. There are 2 points of intersection. They appear to be -1, -4, and 2, -1.